Hey, you guys, I actually saw this video clip the other day of Denzel Washington. He actually sat down at a summit that TD Jakes was having and did this interview. And I found it extremely encouraging to me. And I hope that it can be encouraging to you as well, especially if you're somebody like me who overanalyzes everything. I'm the type of person that if God asks me to do something, and oftentimes it requires faith, which is there's going to be some unknowing to that level of faith. And if I'm not careful, I'm the person that I can sit down and just self-analyze and ponder and think and pray. And even though I know God's asked me to do something, because I don't have all of the answers or because I don't have a clear vision of what the end purpose looks like or the end goal, I can find myself in idle mode doing absolutely nothing at all when all he's asked me to do is just to start walking. And so I saw this clip, found it extremely encouraging to myself, and hopefully you guys can find it encouraging to your walk as well. So we're just going to get into it.
How much of who you are affects what you do? Let me say it like that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't examine myself.
Really?
No, I don't, I know where I got it from. I know what I'm supposed to do with it, and that's good enough for me. I don't keep notes or, talk to myself.
It's real interesting, and he's talking about God in the context of all this. But he says, I know my gifts and I know where I got them from, and basically I just walk them out. So he knows that he has the gift of acting. I mean, we're talking about one of the greatest actors of all time, quite possibly the GOAT of acting. And he just addresses it with so much confidence of, hey, listen, I know what my gifts are. I know where to carry them out at. I know what they look like when they're fleshed out, and I just do them. And so if you're in your mid-20s, by now you should have an idea of what you're good at and what you're not good at. You should have an idea of what you're gifted at, what you're not gifted at. And if you don't, then what I would encourage you to do is find people that are close to you and just ask them. Ask them what you're good at. Say, hey man, what is it I'm good at? And they'll tell you, and then just start to make notes. Okay, they said I'm good at this, I'm good at speaking, or I'm good at writing, or I'm good at whatever it may be. I'm good at teaching, it could be any number of things. And so just jot those down and write those down. And then as you have your list, then just start to ask, okay, God, how does this work out? How does this flesh out for the kingdom? How do I further your kingdom with these skill sets that you've given me? And so make that list down and then just start to walk those things out. Obviously, prayerfully walk those out and just continue to pursue God's will in the midst of pursuing your purpose in life. But I think the part that really hit me the most is what he goes on to say next.
Too much about. I try to get out of the way.
You try to get out?
I try to get out of the way. Yeah. Man goes down to the ocean.
Okay.
Tries to fit all the knowledge of the ocean into his little brain instead of just jumping in the water and enjoying himself. Faith is jumping in the water. Ego is, if I don't understand it, it doesn't exist. To think we can reduce everything to our level of understanding is ego on steroid. How dare any of us? I know what's best. Oh, really? Okay. Good luck.
Yeah.
So there he just goes on to say that, a man goes down to the ocean, he's trying to fit all of the knowledge of the ocean into his brain. And that's ego on steroids. It's this sense of, you think of the story of Abraham when God basically asked Abraham to just start walking. And he didn't tell him where, he just said start walking. And what Abraham didn't do, and it's credited throughout Scripture, it's credited to Abraham of his faith, the great amount of faith that Abraham had. And it was demonstrated multiple times. Then later he was asked to sacrifice his son Isaac, and he went through that whole process. So we know that Abraham was absolutely a man of incredible faith. And in that story, we see that God asked him to start walking, and he didn't sit there and say, okay, God, well, where do you want me to walk to? And why are we walking to that destination? And what's your purpose? And what? Yeah, he didn't ask why. He didn't ask what. All we see in Scripture is it looks like he just started walking, and he's trusting that God was going to take him wherever he's supposed to go. But too many of us, again, myself included in this, if I'm not careful, God can say, hey, son, I want you to start walking. Well, before I start walking, I need to know why we're walking. I need to know where we're walking. I need to know what's the purpose of where we're walking to. I have to have all these answers. And there is an element to that there's some ego involved in that. Again, who am I to question God and say, well, God, I'm not going to start walking until you give me X, Y, and Z. Until you start giving me all these answers, I'm not going to start walking. So I'm just going to sit here. And there's an element to that there is some ego involved in that. of who am I to question God of why he wants me to start walking. Like, if I love God enough, and I don't think this is a relationship built out of fear either. I don't think it's one of those things where I start walking because I'm afraid of him. But more importantly than that is I start walking simply because I love him. And I know that he loves me. And I know that he's asked me to start walking because he's got something better in store for me, regardless of where it is, regardless of where we're headed. It doesn't matter where we're headed. He's asked me to walk. I know that he's a good father, and I know that he's going to lead me somewhere where it's going to be incredible. So it should be as simple as that of, okay, he's asked me to walk. I don't need to know all the whys, the ins and outs of where we're walking to or why we're doing it. Just start walking and in faith, trust that God's taking me somewhere better. Like I said, I saw that clip and it was extremely encouraging to me, and I hope it's encouraging to you as well. So hope this helps, and God bless.